Okay, time for another King's Claim devlog live coding thing. This one I'm going to keep super short because I'm just going to talk about where things are and the next steps I need to take to kind of make the game more interesting. And it's going to focus on the sort of computer player. So here's where we left off. We got the results tracking system in the database. So we've got the game results table. We've got this full loop where like the player comes to the website, requests to join a game, gets handed off to the game server. The game runs, and then when it ends, it shows a summary and a game over screen, and then the player can go back and start a new game. So we got that full loop working. The way that I did this, because there's no game end detection right now, is I just hard coded something on the back end to have the game only run for, I think, 200 ticks. And then once it reaches that, it just automatically quits. That's just so I could finish this loop, and I can always embellish this or improve that stuff. Do I have a Rails server running? Let me see. Let me show you how the game is looking right now. So if I just go to localhost 3000, this is the home page, and I can also, let's see, I can have multiple games running. So let's start a game in the top left. This will be player 1 over here. And then player 2 in the first game, you see they're synced up. And then meanwhile, I can start a second game. And those are synced up at the bottom. So I'm running 2 different separate games right now. And simultaneously, they'll both come to a natural end. And you can see the Ruby processes running in the background. So when you join a game, it like kicks off this background task. And that's cool. So that's all working, and then we get logs of everything, so we can debug. So this is all looking really good on the whole. A couple other things about where we left off. There was a game over bug. It seemed like a game over bug with the summary screen somehow, but it was really just turned out to be a CSS issue. The AI agent wound up using an important rule in CSS, which is kind of like a manual override, which is not great, but I'll try to remember to fix that. Whenever you use important rules in CSS, it's pretty much always a case of like, if you restructured your app a little bit, you wouldn't have to use those manual overrides. You should actually structure code and your HTML markup so that you don't have to use the overrides. Things should naturally cascade. But that's always something I can fix later. And indeed, these other things are working. We did have a problem where like the game wouldn't start properly all of a sudden. And that took almost the whole session to figure out. And then the game summary, game over screen is cool. When the game ships, by the time you're watching this, in fact, the plan is to already have a live version of the game that people can play. But like this debug stuff will all be gone or hidden. The logs and stuff will maybe still be happening on the back end, or I should say behind the scenes on the client. But I kind of like this. I also just noticed that it's using this like I don't know what this effect is called, the sort of glow behind the letters, which is really cool. And you can hit play again and start another game if you want. And we can do that here as well. Oh, except I can't see the play again button when I have that many things on the screen. There we go. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but so here's the main thing I want to do today, and I'm going to do this probably off camera. I'm going to spend some time planning with the agent. You can see right now you've got like red castle and blue castle. Let me start another game here so that it's a little bit easier to tell. So you've got red castle and blue castle, and you've got these walls that the workers are are working on. And if I can take off the debug, you can see these are the quarries, these sort of like squares with dark blocks on them. The workers are just building walls kind of haphazard. The way the game works is that when you enclose an area with your walls, it becomes your property. And as you gain more property, you'll gain more workers, and it sort of builds on it. And then the whole idea is to win the game by taking over enough territory that you can kind of overwhelm your opponents. So the main thing I'm going to have to spend some time on with the AI is brainstorming, like, what am I going to try to do? Basically, like, I have to figure out why the AI player is not assigning jobs to the workers in such a way that the workers will build series like rectangles of walls that will enclose areas, basically. It just doesn't kind of make sense that it has no strategy. It's just very random right now. So if a human player were to play against this, it would just crush the AI, no problem. The AI should have some idea of what to do. The CPU player should have some kind of strategy. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. The pathfinding seems okay. And then the other thing related to building walls and enclosing stuff is the AI players don't have any concept right now of they don't have any concept that the goal is to enclose areas of the map. They don't have any concept of like a comparative advantage between enclosing a larger area versus a smaller area or anything like that. So I'm going to just spend some time doing some design work, basically. So normally I do all this stuff live, with the exception of this deeper design work, because the truth is I don't quite know what direction the AI algorithm needs to go in order. And I'm talking about the AI players, like the human versus CPU players. I need to spend some time just brainstorming really on how to get the AI player to have some kind of strategy. It doesn't have to be super fancy or complex. It just has to be something that the AI player can use that will actually work. And I think it'll probably be some kind of prioritization some kind of prioritization system. It should be something like, hey, if you don't have any enclosed area, like get some, and maybe I should start every map with like a small enclosed area around the player's castle or something like that. And then a second priority would be something like, if you have like identify rectangles or areas of the wall that maybe have holes in them and fill them. And that should maybe also take care of like when your enemy attacks your walls and like breaks through an area. That should maybe allow the AI to fix holes in their defenses or something like that. And then a third layer would be just strategizing about what areas to take over and why and that kind of thing. So I'm just thinking these kind of like a really simple priority-based system of goals. And it could be either priorities, or could it be like hierarchy where you have the lowest level is strategizing about which jobs to put in the queue in which order, and then the layer above that could be thinking about how those individual jobs are feeding into like a larger goal, like enclosing a certain area. And then there could be a hierarchy right above that. Like the highest, most strategic layer is just like deciding which areas of the map are most valuable and assigning values to each of those things, something like that. So either some kind of priority system or a hierarchy system of goals, something like that. But I'm gonna spend all that brainstorming time with the AI just off camera, because it's going to be a lot of just dead air, just me like typing some things, then reading, having a conversation, and then just sitting there and thinking about it, maybe for hours, I don't know. But when I come back, I'm going to have probably a totally new session. So like all this stuff is going to be cleared out and reset. And then I'll be working on the AI to try to get it to actually play a game that can get all the way to the end. I'll expand the maximum tick count from 200 to maybe something longer, like 1,000 or 2,000, just to see, just so I can run the AI through its paces of, in terms of being able to debug its goals and why it's choosing to do certain things. And then, like maybe I could have an overlay where, player one, like you can click a button in the UI to show how the player one is thinking, and then same thing for player two, so that we'd be able to see the map overlaid with some kind of scoring that the AI is assigning to each part of the map and its goals and its priorities and that kind of thing. And that'll really help. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's it for this post, but or this vlog, whatever you want to call it. But I'll see you next time. Hopefully we're going to close the loop on an actual computer player versus computer player kind of thing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.